My ex-wife once told the world I was broke and worthless after our divorce. Years later, she appeared at my mansion with her new husband, pleading for help. I just smiled and shut the gates. Hi, Reddit. Honestly, I never imagined I'd be typing this out. But here I am. I'm 45 now, and what I'm about to share still feels surreal, like something out of a film. Except this wasn't fiction. This was my life. I'm not here for sympathy. I just need to finally let this story breathe. 15 years ago, I was married to a woman named Lydia. We'd been together since our early 20s, and I believe we were building a future side by side. Back then, I didn't have much. I was working long days as an engineer and picking up freelance projects at night to keep us afloat. Money was tight, but I thought we had stability. At least, that's what I told myself. Lydia cared deeply about appearances. She loved the image of wealth, the designer outfits, the nights out, the shiny cars. I could only provide those things occasionally, but she always wanted more. At first, I thought it was just impatience, that with time she'd learn what really mattered. But truthfully, she wasn't invested in me, just the lifestyle she thought she deserved. The breaking point came when I was laid off. My company downsized, and suddenly I was piecing together odd jobs while struggling to get my own small business off the ground. It was one of the lowest points in my life. We went from comfortable to counting pennies for groceries. I was exhausted, ashamed, and terrified of losing our home. But instead of standing by me, Lydia turned vicious. She'd sneer at me during fights, calling me useless. She'd mock my job applications. Why would anyone hire you? You're past your prime. She even stopped touching me, gossiping her friends I wasn't a real man anymore. And then came the betrayal. I discovered she was cheating with one of her co-workers. As if that wasn't enough, when she filed for divorce, she destroyed my reputation. To friends, family, anyone who'd listen, she painted me as a failure, a broke, incompetent loser who was dragging her down. I'll never forget her parting words at the courthouse. You'll never be anything. You'll die broke. I'll move on to someone who can actually provide. That line seared into me. The divorce wrecked me. She took half of what little we had and walked away smirking, clinging to the man she left me for. I was humiliated, discarded, like my whole life had gone up in flames. For a while, I even believed her. Maybe she was right. Maybe I'd never bounce back. But then something inside me shifted. I was done being her victim, done letting her words shape my future. I threw everything I had into my business, the one that had nearly failed. I studied harder than ever, took risks that scared me, worked day and night. Slowly, things started to click. Within 5 years, my renewable energy company exploded with growth. Contracts rolled in. I hired employees. By the 10-year mark, I was making in a month what I used to make in a year. Eventually, I bought land outside the city and built my dream estate. Iron gates, sprawling gardens, a breathtaking view. I won't lie, a part of me wanted to prove Lydia wrong. I hadn't seen her in years, though I'd heard she remarried a flashy real estate guy. Together, they flaunted their wealth online. Luxury vacations, designer wardrobes, fancy cars. I ignored it, let them have their parade. Until 3 months ago, I was in my study when my security guard called. There's a woman at the gate asking for you. I pulled up the camera feed. My heart almost stopped. It was Lydia, but she didn't look like the polished, arrogant woman I remembered. Her hair was a mess, her makeup smeared, her clothes wrinkled. Beside her stood a man, her husband, I assumed, looking equally desperate. I went down to the gate. She rushed forward. Please, she begged, her voice shaking. We need to talk. Turns out her husband's empire had collapsed. Bad investments, lawsuits, debt. They had lost everything. House gone, cars gone, friends gone. She admitted they were practically homeless, drifting between motels. Then came the words I never thought I'd hear. We need your help. Please. You've done so well. We don't have anywhere else to turn. Her husband just stood there, eyes down, silent. For a moment, I just looked at her. This was the same woman who once mocked me as broke and useless. the woman who laughed while tearing me apart in court. And now, she was begging outside the very gate she once swore I'd never have. I didn't yell. I didn't gloat. I didn't ask questions. I just met her eyes and said, "You were right. I'm broke. Useless. Remember?" Then I nodded to my guard. The gates closed. Through the security feed, I watched her crumble to the ground, sobbing. Her husband tried to lift her, but she shoved him away. They argued, then finally disappeared into the night. I expected to feel triumphant, but what I felt was peace. For years, her words had haunted me, driven me, pushed me further than I thought possible. And now, standing inside my gates, I realized the truth. Her betrayal was the best thing that ever happened to me. I don't hate her anymore. I don't love her either. She's just a ghost, someone I used to know, a reminder of how far I've come. That chapter is finally closed. But that wasn't the end. A week later, I received a handwritten letter. Not an email, not a text, an actual letter from Lydia. The first pages were apologies. She claimed she regretted what she said during our marriage, that she was young and didn't know how to value a good man. Then she shifted tone, praising my success, claiming she always knew I had potential. The kicker was at the end. We may not have worked out, but deep down you know there's still a connection. I don't expect you to take me back, but if you gave me another chance, I could finally be the partner you deserved. I laughed out loud reading it. After everything, humiliating me, leaving me in ruins, she was hinting at rekindling something? As if her husband was disposable now that he'd lost everything. I didn't respond. I figured silence was enough. 2 weeks later, I was wrong. I ran into her outside a restaurant after a business dinner. She looked different, tidier, made up, almost like she was trying to resurrect a woman I once knew. "Please," she begged, stepping in front of me, "just hear me out." She spun this story about how her husband had trapped her, how she never really loved him, how she always believed in me but didn't know how to show it. She even touched my arm, tears glistening in her eyes. "You're the only man who ever truly cared for me." Every word dripped with manipulation. Maybe 10 years ago, broken me would have fallen for it. But not now. I pulled my arm back. "Lydia, the only thing you ever cared about was money and status. You didn't want me. You wanted a lifestyle. And when I couldn't give it to you, you threw me away. Don't stand here, now pretending it was anything else." Her face shifted from fake sorrow to pure rage. "You think you're better than me now, don't you?" she snapped. "You wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for me pushing you. I made you who you are." I almost laughed at the audacity. "No," I said calmly. "You broke me. I made myself." Then I got into my car and drove away. I later heard through friends that she and her husband split. Apparently, he took what little they had left and vanished. She's been couch hopping ever since. I haven't seen her again, and I hope I never do. Closing the gates in her face gave me satisfaction. But walking away from her that night, that gave me freedom. For the first time in decades, I realized she has no power over me. Not her words, not her tears, not her manipulation. Nothing. She's just a bitter reminder of who I once was, and who I'll never be again.